Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today Battlefield 2042's player numbers are rising. There are some fantastic new options in the game that you've probably missed, and there's a pretty substantial Battlefield 7 leak for us to go over. Before we begin, as always, hit up that sub button if you do enjoy the content. I can't believe that we recently hit 40,000 subs, and we're already pretty close to 41,000, so thank you guys so much for your support as always. Alright, so just quickly here before we begin, DICE have literally just posted this as I was recording my voiceover for this video, so I'm going to stick this in the video, and this is from the Battlefield communication channel. So it seems that DICE have implemented a hotfix for the new Flashpoint map, and they say here in their post, we've begun to work through the data and feedback that we're seeing from our players. Today we've made a series of changes aimed at improving the match experience for Flashpoint on Breakthrough and Conquest. Statistically, for Flashpoint Breakthrough, we are seeing a 51-49 ratio of wins, with the attackers being the higher side. Player feedback is indicating that the attacking side feels the more dominant force, and as such we've made the following vehicle count changes to address this. So what they've done here is reduce the amount of heavy armoured vehicles on Sector A, Sector B and Sector C from 2 down to 1, and then on the last sector, the E sector, there will no longer be any armoured transport at all. I'm honestly surprised to see that it was only a 51% win rate for the attackers, because if I had to guess, I would say it was like 70-30 or 80-20. It felt like the attackers had it so much easier, but apparently we're only like 1% off, so that's interesting. Now, as for Conquest, they also say, we have also noticed that Flashpoint Conquest is not living up to our expectations in terms of match length. In response to this, here are the updated ticket counts. So they've increased the Conquest ticket counts from 1,300 to 1,700, and Conquest Small has gone from 700 to 1,000. Obviously, we haven't gone to try Conquest Small yet, but I'm sure we will next week. So that's cool. Nice to see DICE, you know, getting in there and making some changes before it's been too long, doing things as soon as they can to make the game a little bit more playable. And I, for one, have definitely found that my Conquest matches are just ending abruptly very, very early on. Like, I feel like I'm just getting into the round, and then I'm like, wait, what? It's over? So I hope you've been having a great time in Season 4 so far. As I said in yesterday's video, the map does take a bit of getting used to, but it's already starting to grow on me a bit, at least in Conquest. But one thing is for sure, and that is that Season 4 has brought back a fair amount of players. Indeed, we can see the Steam numbers here are on the rise, topping out at about 18,000 players on release day, which are numbers we haven't seen since last year when they had the free-to-play weekend on Steam. And speaking of free-to-play, Battlefield 2042 is one of this month's PlayStation Plus games, which of course means you can pick it up free of charge if you're playing on PlayStation. So that too is great news there for the player numbers. Now, moving on here, I did mention this in yesterday's video, but just wanted to let you guys know that DICE have finally added the longer-awaited options to allow you to scale your minimap, and also the size and transparency of the icons within. This kind of thing was first introduced in Battlefield 4 over 10 years ago now, and we finally got it added to Battlefield 2042 as well. So, you know, better late than never, I guess. For me, maximum minimap size is a no-brainer here. It does only go up to 125%. I would like to see the 200% option from BF4, but, you know, I'll take 125 over 100. So try it out for yourself, guys. You probably won't regret it. And finally here, let's cover the so-called Battlefield 7 leak. So this was originally posted on 4chan before it got removed, and then it was reposted on Gaming Leaks and Rumors by Throwaway Snitch 12. Yeah. So he says, I recently left DICE EA Stockholm, and since they fired me for no reason, already pretty sus there to be honest, I guess, you know, he's going to spill the beans for us. Now, disclaimer before we go any further, Marcus Lato, who is reportedly working on the next single-player experience for Battlefield at the newly established Ridgeline Games, has called bullshit on this one, so take this with, you know, however much salt you think it needs, probably quite a lot. But nevertheless, let's go through this and see if anything could actually be accurate. So Battlefield 7 is targeting fall 2024 to 2025. I think that is probably correct. Not sure it's going to be called Battlefield 7 though. Whatever happened to Battlefield 6 anyway? Next gen only, again, almost certainly. I think some of Battlefield 2042's biggest issues actually stemmed from it being spread across 2 different generations of consoles, so hopefully people will have upgraded by then. It's going to be on a new engine. I mean, the Frostbite engine has stopped being given different iterative names. It used to be called Frostbite 2 and 3 and 4, etc., but now they simply call it the Frostbite engine, and they make improvements to it with every game. So when can you call it an entirely new engine? I honestly don't know, but I'm sure, as always, we'll see some pretty significant upgrades. Beta in summer 2024 and reveal at EA Play 2023. Now, EA Play is usually during the summertime. I would be very surprised if DICE were to announce anything this year at all, never mind during the summer. I fully expect any kind of announcement on the next game to come once Battlefield 2042's content has come to an end and completely dried up, you know, to give the player base something to look forward to. Specialists return with a classic mode available in custom games. So that sounds pretty much like what we have in Battlefield 2042 with Portal at the moment. I'm not sure if DICE will take the chance, honestly, on implementing specialists again. I know there are players who like specialists, but I think there are far more people who don't like specialists. And unfortunately, Battlefield 2042 has kind of destroyed DICE's chances of anyone thinking that they're a good idea going forward. So it would be pretty ballsy of DICE to put them into the next game. If they do, I think it'll almost certainly be implemented around a class system from the get-go, much like the one that we have now. The campaign is a direct follow-up of Final Stand, focused on stopping Russia from forming the PAC, so that is actually one of the factions in Battlefield 2142. Wrecker returns and is the playable character, big focus on huge set pieces and an emotional backbone. Now that could be true, and if it is, count me in, dude. That sounds pretty awesome. You know, continuing Battlefield 4 story? Hell yes. Multiplayer is 128 players, Metro on launch, planned 7 maps with a big destruction event on each, a destructible city is planned, gun customization is pretty much a carbon copy of Gunsmith, SBMM being considered and prototyped, server browser is only for custom games. 128 players I don't think is unlikely. It's a bit 50-50 between who prefers 128 and 64. Personally, I prefer 64, so as long as they have both, they could go that route. Metro, I mean, yeah, okay, Metro for the 100th time, cool, whatever. 7 maps only planned on launch, though, would surprise me. I don't think that can be true. Just look at the shit show that 2042 received for having only 7 maps, and 7 bad maps at that. However, a big destructive Levolution-like event is likely, I think. We were promised bigger and better destruction with 2042, and what we got is a fraction of the destruction from previous games. So if DICE want to wow us and win us over this time, then that is something to look at. Now, SBMM being prototype, that stands for skill-based matchmaking, and it is probably the scariest part of this entire post, and the sole reason that I do hope this person is talking out of their arse. The day that SBMM comes to Battlefield would be a very dark one indeed. It's one of the biggest reasons that I no longer play or enjoy any Call of Duty games. It just becomes a sweat fest, and I just sincerely hope that doesn't happen to Battlefield. Battle Royale, developed by Ripple Effect, free to play, biggest map in Battlefield history, roughly double the size of Verdansk, so Verdansk is one of the Modern Warfare maps. Helis and tanks are gained through contracts and drop in by air, big focus on classes. Set in Moscow, your goal is to eliminate all other operators or extract early and return next match with better loot, so kind of Escape from Tarkov inspired there, it sounds. Now, it is true that Ripple Effect are working on their own standalone game, so Ridgeline, Marcus Leto's team, are doing single player, DICE Stockholm are doing multiplayer, and Ripple Effect are doing their own thing. That thing could well be some sort of free-to-play offering similar to Warzone, and I wouldn't really blame EA for trying to get on that money wagon. Who knows, it could actually turn out to be pretty good. Now, do I think this guy is telling the truth? Did he really work for DICE? No, I don't. I think all of the information here outlined are things that anybody with half a brain could guess or conceive of. So if you do see things here that worry you, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. If you are thinking about getting back into Battlefield 2042 with Season 4, go and check out yesterday's video if you missed it. That is all about exactly that, Season 4. Thanks for spending some of your time with me today, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.